I'm Lance Phillips. It's Halloween. I've decided to dress up as myself because, frankly, that's as horrifying as it gets.
I'm Chris King, and I've decided to rob my kids' candy bags like every Halloween.
That's greasy. Do you seriously?
Yeah. There's too much chocolate in there. I gotta eat it.
Do you allow your kids to have that kind of sugar?
No, I eat it.
What about when you get apples? Do they still hand out apples on trick or treat?
Yeah, but it's a little shady now with
Is
apples. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Especially, I guess, if you see like little holes in the apple.
Yeah, you don't know what you're getting. She gets a Smartie or two. That's about it.
Lance Phillips, Chris King, gloves are off. Did you ever used to get like candy coated apples and things like that, like stuff that people had made at home, like brownies?
Yeah, but I grew up in a farm town, so that was like everything, and you never thought about it. You just ate it
for sure. And I never had a problem with it, but like when you're on playgrounds and people have like razor blades in the playgrounds, like you can't trust anything.
Straight to the garbage.
Even if it's packaged, you can't trust it. Emma Miskew joining us on the show. Well, not actually on the show. We talked to Emma Friday at the Grand Slam of Pinty's Grand Slam of curling that occurred here. Did you happen to take in any of the games?
I took in just a little bit after that. I obviously had to go coach on Friday night, so I didn't get to see
so you're
too
only
much.
speaking about when we did the interview.
Yeah, just a little bit
there were
there.
Actually no games happening at that point.
There's finishing up, and then we filmed. So yeah, I saw a little bit there.
What a great event it was. We had a chance to chat with Emma, and she was excellent. Good to talk to. And there was a pretty significant football game that happened this past weekend on Friday. Hence the Holy Rosary High School Raiders jersey hanging there to Chris King's left.
Yeah, I hope we can get this in the shot because one of us on here has been pro Lloyd Comp Barons the whole time.
Yeah, and what happened, and I said during the last show that I said, I don't know anymore if it's still the case or not. We're not doing this to cover up Josh Ryan either.
Yeah, although it works good.
Yeah, it does, actually. It's excellent for that, but that wasn't the purpose of this show. Listen, let's get started with Wheatland Football League. Lloyd Comp Barons, Holy Rosary Raiders, in an absolute offensive battle, 11-9, the final. Holy Rosary wins the Wheatland Football League championship. I mentioned calls Josh Ryan there. But there was a pretty significant event that happened throughout that game. Garrett Musgrave, the starting quarterback for the Comp Barons, did not play a snap of quarterback the entire second half. Was that the biggest difference in this game?
Well, I would assume it's a huge difference when you lose your QB. Now, that being said, any time that you play a football game or any game, you know you're going to deal with injuries. So my question, I guess, is what happened to him? Because I did hear rumors that he still played on the defensive end of the ball.
He had a stinger in his shoulder, in his left shoulder, which is his non-throwing shoulder. He had it. He got it a couple of different occasions. He did play defense for a majority of the game, and he played at least the last series, and I believe it was the last two offensive series when the Comp was trying to score to tie the game. So he was playing wide receiver, essentially, or slot receiver. But he did not play a snap at QB. Anton Amendrud filled in. And this is no slight on Anton Amendrud because he's a very good backup quarterback and will be a good starter next year.
And obviously it hurts when your QB goes out just because you don't feel as confident when the backup comes in when you know that you have a stud.
So you still haven't actually answered the question. Do you think it would change the game?
I think it would change the game, but I think any injury that Holy had probably changed the game as well. Did any guys on Holy play injured? The fact of the matter is at this point in the season you're not 100% healthy. I kind of question if you could play defense with a stinger, why couldn't you throw the ball?
I'm not disagreeing with it. He did throw 2 interceptions. One of them was run back for a score, and that was the difference in the game. That was it. The game was over at that point because the Comp didn't score any more points to get back to that spot. And after that second interception was when he wasn't in. I believe this is a big difference. If you're out there and you're going to play defense, especially, which there's more contact, I would argue, than there is playing offense on quarterback, he should have been in there maybe at quarterback.
I would agree. And obviously when you take out the star player, that makes a huge difference on either side of the ball. Speaking of star players, the Rustlers women's basketball and volleyball teams are 6-0 right now. Lance, tell me how you feel about the start over at Lakeland.
Star players. Okay.
There's a bunch on both teams. That's why
I know you need to toe the company line here. Look at 6-0 start. I'm not surprised from the volleyball standpoint.
Right.
I am absolutely shocked from the women's basketball standpoint. Look, you and I have had lots of discussions. You've never once been disparaging towards your own team. You've always spoken very highly of your team. That being said, I still think, and I think you're probably a little shocked that your team is 6-0 as well at this point.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on both those points. The women's volleyball team, obviously, we knew was going to be strong coming back as the reigning national champ. Our team is very young, super talented. But we're well ahead of where I thought we'd be at this point. I thought it'd take us till January to get here. And they're playing good basketball. Now
you only play 24 games. This is a pretty good start.
Yeah, 6 games down, so we're halfway through the first semester. So it really helps us in the long run. But I think the girls are finding some good chemistry and really good roles right now.
Yeah, I mean, to be 6-0 at this point, I believe that you are, if I'm not mistaken, tied for the ACAC. You are the first place team in the ACAC right now.
Right.
Medicine Hat is 4 games in, they're 4-0. But still, this is quite an accomplishment for your women's team.
Yeah, and it's exciting, right? We know that we got a lot of work to do, and I think now that when you start 6-0, just like Austin's team going 6-0, now there's a little bit of a target on your back, so teams start gunning for you, and Austin's going to have to deal with that all year. It'll be interesting to see how our youth handles that, especially when the national rankings come out on Tuesday. Our women's volleyball team will be number 1, I'm sure of that, and we might grab a top 15 ranking. Who knows what happens?
And you're not a big team. I mean, that is not a big women's basketball team. You have Shania and you have
Bree.
You have Bree that are both your bigs down low, but it's beyond that, not a big team. You have essentially a team of point guards.
Right.
And you're making this work.
Yeah, and they're doing a bunch of different things, so that's what makes us tough to defend.
Tough to defend, eh?
We're scoring a lot of points right now.
All right, we'll go with it. Yuli Guriel, is scoring a lot of points, as in home runs, as in he hit one last night, not last night, that was Monday night, during Game 6, Game 5 of the World Series. I'm all over the map here, Kinger. Game 5 of the World Series. However, he was suspended 5 games for an obscene gesture, and I'd say obscene, it's pretty obscene, it's racist, for lack of a better term, against Yu Darvish, but that 5-game suspension doesn't kick in until the beginning of 2018. That's a huge error, is that right? Did Major League Baseball drop the ball here?
Yeah, no pun intended. I think, I don't understand how you can do something in playoffs, make a racist gesture, basically, and then say, you know what, this is really important. It's the World Series. We'll suspend you next year when it doesn't matter because we want to make sure we have our best product on the field. That's not how it goes. If you do something dumb, you should be punished immediately. You should have been suspended maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 games right now. Right? That changes the whole outlook of the series. I think baseball is a little afraid to have their ratings dropped. I think that's the biggest thing right now.
It was Sunday night, by the way, not Monday night. Listen to this Houston Astros statement regarding this. Houston Astros general manager Jeff Luhnow released the following statement regarding the disciplinary action. The Houston Astros were surprised and disappointed by the behavior displayed by Yuli Guriel during last night's game. The Astros in Major League Baseball pride ourselves on the diversity of our sport and in showing great respect to all cultures represented by our players, front office staff, fans, and members of the media. Skip ahead here. We support Major League Baseball's decision of a 5-game suspension for the 2018 season. Of course they do. Yeah. What are they going to say? We don't support it. We'd like him suspended now. Look at the guy should have been suspended now. He shouldn't be playing again in the World Series. It should be over.
Well, and when you flip that back to the NBA, you look at Draymond Green. He got suspended in the NBA Finals. Did it change the outcome? Probably.
It doesn't matter. You can't. You're telling players that this is acceptable. You can do this, and we'll suspend you, but you can deal with it at a later point.
Yeah, I think it's unacceptable what happened.
It's totally unacceptable, and the fact that the Astros are just rolling with it is wrong. Like the Astros should have stepped up and said, no, we're not having this. He's got to be suspended now. We, as an organization, are suspending him for the remainder of the postseason.
I agree with you, and that's a rare thing. I agree. The Olympic curling trials are just around the corner here. Lance, you got to look at a few teams this weekend. Who's the favorite for coming out as the Canada team that's going to go to the Olympics?
Well, listen, I would have thought it was Rachel Homan's team. I believe that Rachel Homan's rink is probably Canada's best bet at a medal on the women's side. However, they went 1-3 in the Pinty's Grand Slam of Curling Masters. Didn't even make the playoff round.
Right.
They went 1-3 in the Pinty's Grand Slam of Curling Tour Challenge. They didn't make the playoff round. So right now, they are struggling big time. Now, you have some insight about the 4 and 5 rock rule. When we were talking to Emma Miskew, she made the point that they're supremely confident in the 4 rock rule. But it doesn't change the fact that they're still struggling.
I think if you look at it in terms of the Pinties, they're struggling, right? On September 29th, they won a 4 rock championship, right? The next week, they won a 4 rock championship. So I think when we talked to her, she seemed really confident, almost like borderline cocky. They know what they need to do in 4 rock, and it seems like they kind of have their shots in place. They know what everyone's role is, and it seems like in 5 rock, it's a different game, and the game changes so quickly. I really liked that in the interview, that she was really positive about their 4-rock chances.
She was, but and I get that the Olympic trials are 4-rock. I get that, but still, the fact of the matter is your team is struggling. Are you telling me that the 4 and the 5-rock rule was the difference of why you lost 3 games compared to 1 this past weekend?
I don't know that for a fact.
This past week?
I don't know that for a fact.
No,
right?
I don't either. I'm just saying. I believe that's BS to me.
Right.
Your team did not curl well enough to win. Now, Jennifer Jones' team curled well enough to win, as in win the whole thing.
Right.
And she's the defending Olympic champion. I mean, there's another good Canadian team that has a chance to really perform well, provided they get to the Olympics. But I think Homan's team is Canada's best chance. As it stands right now, maybe they're not, though.
Regardless, last time we had an Olympics, Canada won gold in both men's and women's. So we should be strong no matter what.
They're going to be strong no matter what. I'm just saying that, if for Rachel Homan's rink, this has got to be, you got to thinking, what is going on here? We need to sort this out because this is a month away.
Yeah.
And it's not getting sorted
coming
out
quick
for them right now. It is coming quick. The World Series is through 5 games with a 13-12 win for the Houston Astros Sunday, as we mentioned earlier. However, Jose Altuve is having an unbelievable postseason. I keep calling you Josh. Chris.
I must look the same as Josh today.
No, Josh is much better looking. Chris, is
Agreed.
Altuve the best player in baseball right now?
He's definitely the best hitter, I would say. And he's the most exciting guy to watch. Now, it always amplifies in playoffs when you see guys put on performances like this. And I got to say, the ball is flying out of the park right now. And when you see a guy like Altuve that squares up the ball so often.
He's 5'6", 165 pounds.
I know. He jumps to give his teammates high fives. Like, he's jumping up there to get to their level. He's very exciting.
I mean, he's hit 7 home runs already this postseason. And that is, it's pretty impressive what he's doing so far. I mean, he is spurning the team to victory. He's got a .344 average. I mean, I believe this guy's the best player in baseball right now. And I can't compare this guy to guys like Clayton Kershaw. I can't compare these types of players to pitchers.
Right.
People might say, oh, pitch. Like think of a pitcher like Kershaw or Keuchel or any of these guys. Oh, that's the best player. They don't do the stuff that guys like
totally different to compare.
Altuve are doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the best players, I believe you're talking about the best positional players, not pitchers.
Well, and Altuve's been so good at the sticks the last couple of years, right? He's led the league in hitting. He's very.
He did this year. Last year he was 3rd.
Yeah, and he's always around there. And you think of it, teams prep just to pitch to him.
Sure.
Right? So he's seeing a lot of breaking balls, which makes it even more impressive what he does with the stick. And then you look at him in the field, when you see a little 5'6" Firefly diving for balls and making plays, it's really exciting to watch.
It's impressive what he's done. I mean, he's got a .316 average, .362 on base percentage career.
Which is a ridiculous number for a career.
It's insane. I mean, he hasn't been in the league that long, but still, it's impressive. And the guy is, I'm not sure that there's a better player out there than him right now.
I can't disagree with you there. The NHL is now a month into the season. There's been a few surprises. Lance, what's the biggest surprise for you so far with the early NHL season?
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, I'd like to say that the Vegas Golden Knights are the biggest surprise at 8-1, but I think for me the bigger surprise is the fact that the Arizona Coyotes have still not won a game. They're 0-11. Like, I would have expected, I know this team is bad.
Right.
I mean, I'm aware the team is bad, and I get that, but they're 0-10-1, if I'm not mistaken. They haven't won. Like, you would think they'd win a game 11 games into the season.
Just out of a sheer road game back-to-back or something like that, yeah. No, I agree.
Anything. Like, that to me is shocking. Like, Edmonton 3-6, you could make an argument about where they are, but that Arizona situation is unbelievable.
Well, and the Oilers for me is like the biggest one. 3-6-1 to start the season. That's a team that we both predicted that was going to lead the league in wins, and push to be in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Lots of time remaining, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can make that point about Arizona as well, but it's still. Wow.
Chemistry is chemistry, though. Like, when you see things struggling this early in the season, you think, okay, how long is it going to take for them to get on track? Is it going to take 30 games in? Like, look at how much your season's done then.
No, for sure.
And you still have 2 of the best players in the world in Draisaitl and McDavid. Draisaitl obviously coming back now will help that, but something's not right with the Oilers. And
this is the thing, right? It's a double-edged sword because on one hand, you just made the point you made, like, okay, well, how long is this going to continue for, right? Yeah. You can make the argument that, we're only 10 games in, but another 10 games in, and now we're a quarter of the way through the season, like you just said, right? And it's still happening. Now there's a major problem. And the other side of it is that nothing to worry about. It's only 10 games in, right?
Yeah,
but it could never end. This could be the Oilers season.
Yeah.
We could be looking at the Edmonton Oilers season all the way along.
So what chunk in the season do you say, oh, okay, we're going to go 7-3 in these 10 games to
You
get back
can't
to
say
500.
that you're going to go at any.
Exactly.
You can't say it. You just play, and and it's going to happen or it's not.
Right. Now on the Coyotes side, eventually they're going to win. It's going to happen, and hopefully they win.
Are they?
Yeah.
Again, I mean, you would expect that they're going to win, but you would also expect that they would have won by now.
Right. Sheer fluke says it's going to happen. I would say this week it's going to happen. It has to happen. Has to happen.
We'll see if it's going to happen or not. I mean, I'm still not 100% confident on this, but Albert is 100% confident with all the tweets that he has in his beak. He's got a lot of them.
He always does.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
I thought you were actually going to hose me on the first part of the show, given the Wheatland income.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy, though, so I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself in the future.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start right now then. I don't know how I redeem myself this. Okay, Andy McCullough at McCullough Times. Rob Manfred said he felt it was unfair to, this is quote, unfair to punish the other 24 players on the Astros roster, end of quote, to suspend Gurriel for the World Series games.
Ridiculous.
But it was fair to you, Darvish, for Gurriel to give that gesture.
Is it fair for Draymond to be suspended? Yes.
It's
You
ridiculous.
suspend a guy when he does something wrong. That's the way it works.
So there, I can't get over it. Like what you're telling players that this kind of behavior it's acceptable. It's not acceptable, but it's acceptable for you can get away with it while you're in the postseason.
Borderline NFL is what that is.
It's garbage. Like there should be an investigation into Rob Manfred at this point.
I'd be interested to hear what they say after the series is done on the ruling, because I bet you they change their tune.
Imagine
a little bit.
Yuli Gurriel like hits the walk-off home run that wins. Well, it wouldn't be a walk-off.
He was huge Sunday night. Clutch hits Sunday night.
No, it was huge. I
he's
mean,
a
it's a
game
3-run
changer.
home run he hit as well.
It's ridiculous. We got Michael Gallagher. Vince Carter is still here to amaze. That guy is a
like 60.
Yeah, and he's still. You see him in warm-ups, dunking, like he's
still
awesome.
doing things.
He's a Canadian legend, is what he is from his Raptors days.
Well, I still will stand by the fact that I think basketball in this country is due in large part to what he did playing for the Toronto Raptors. All right, so this is a bone of contention for a lot of people in Toronto. This is a bone of contention for me and Adam Goss. So City News put out a little Twitter poll looking back at the Jays' 92 World Series Championship parade and wondering which Toronto team do you think could be next. Of course, the Blue Jays, Raptors, Toronto FC, and Maple Leafs are there. There's another Toronto franchise that's not on that list, and Adam Goss called out City News and Daniel Michaud. The Argos, the Toronto Argonauts, Toronto, as in plays in Toronto since 1873. And he's right.
How did they miss that?
Because nobody cares about, and the other thing too is that City TV is a Sportsnet property. It's a Sportsnet property, and Sportsnet does not promote anything CFL as far as, especially as it pertains to the Toronto
Which is
Argonauts.
unfortunate because that's the Canadian game.
And that team is integral to the success of the league.
We got my boy Seth Davis at Seth Davis Hoops. He's going after Skip Bayless, as Skip Bayless says, no rookie in sports history has had a higher degree of difficulty than Lonzo Ball thanks to his father. And Seth Davis responds, Jackie Robinson says hi. Skip
Can
Bayless.
you just say whatever you want?
Skip Bayless just spews BS
Garbage.
all the time.
That's all he does.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched his show?
Yeah, you can't watch it. It's
No,
unwatchable.
it's unwatchable.
He's terrible.
I mean, we're borderline unwatchable, but he's more unwatchable than we are, I think.
But we got a likable personality. That's the positive. I think so.
Well, you do.
I've been told that.
I don't know if I do. Yeah, Skip Bayless is just hot garbage for sure. That's all he is. The Hockey Hangout at Hockey Hangout. Don't get a penalty here.
That's like back in the club in the day.
It is. It totally is. Can you
Like-
imagine? I'm like just sitting there and it just going off.
You
like,
walk out of the penalty box and you got to cover your eyes. Going over.
Dude, I was a heavy club guy. Like I love going to clubs, but you would always see people strung out, and then other people with like glow sticks in their face doing this, and oh yeah, it was nuts.
I can see you with glow sticks. Actually,
No, I didn't
that
use
makes
glow sticks. I
that
refuse to use glow
total
sticks.
sense. We got at the Onion, Steph Curry loudly chewing his huge wad of mouth guards. And that is just, that's one of the things I hate when people have mouth guards and they don't have them in their mouth.
They're just chewing them.
Yeah,
but
like-
Steph Curry's notorious for that.
Yeah, and then it's like they fall down and their mouth guard comes out. Well, it wasn't really in your mouth. Why are you even putting it in? Like, you're not trying to save your chiclets.
There's mail.
Ridiculous.
When I was at the Wheatland game, at the comp rosary game, there was a literally looked like a brand new mouth guard.
You probably should have said Rosary Comp because Rosary won. Anyways.
But the game was at Armstrong Field.
Fine.
Right?
Proceed.
If it was at Raider Bowl, I would say Raiders Comp.
I just want to give Holy a little more love here for this championship win.
What more love do they need? They won the game.
I know. They've been dogged on all year.
They've been dogged on. Speaking of dogged on, here's Jeff O'Neill, O-Dog9. Never felt old until a grown man with a beard told me he went as me for Halloween. Grammatically, absolutely poor.
Got mail.
Yeah, we understand
Great.
what you're getting at.
It's a great picture, though. Any kid that looks like that's got some serious trouble. We got at Lakeland Soccer. Congrats to Go Wrestlers' very own central defender Mackenzie Longpree for being named the 2017 ACAC South All-Conference team. And let me say, the Wrestlers men's didn't have a successful season, which makes this award all the more interesting that he played well enough to get that award.
I'm telling you, I was at one of those soccer games when he had a strike from nearly midfield on the sidelines, and it like top corner, curled it into the top corner. Like I was, and I'm glad I got it because I was like, whoa, look at this. Look at it was incredible.
And he had a couple of those plays where he just missed long shots like that. He was very good this year for that team. I hope he's back next year, and I hope that they can build off of some of those key players.
Right. They just need some coaching now.
Wagner's not watching this, I promise. I promise he's not watching. If he is, he's coming for you.
Ryan Grant at Mojo Fitness. Of course there would be a Saskatchewan Rough Rider jersey at the World Series. Hashtag reppin'. That's the only hashtag I care about. Reppin'. Look at that guy. Canada hat.
Ryan Grant,
Riders practice jersey or whatever that thing is.
Ex-Lloydminster Dodger right there.
Really?
Calling it out. Yeah, played softball with him a few times in Worlds.
Nice.
Good guy. The Sask Rough Riders, farewell old friend. Now this is a sad moment for all of Saskatchewan watching this go down. You know, and when I turned on my Twitter, this was just popping on everyone's retweets. It's tough to see.
You know, the only thing that was a little disappointing is when it fell down, it just kind of, like my phone here, just kind of like fell and just, that was it. Like I was hoping it would just blow up and crumble and like.
You're hoping like the atomic bomb where like.
Well, like when they take
everywhere.
down buildings, right? The buildings just crumble. Like there's nothing left. Like I was hoping that thing would just shatter into like 1,000
It almost
pieces.
looked like it just went down a story and this went.
Yeah.
Hey, there's mail.
They're like, oh, we messed that up.
Oops. All right, let's bang out this last one. Matt Monaghan, Matt Mono 11. First of all, change your Twitter name. That literally looked. I had to do a double take on this because I thought that was just a guy that looked like Clayton Kershaw in the stands.
No,
it's actually him. Yeah, but like I said, I had to watch
That's
it like 3
amazing.
times. I had to look at it like 3 times. Like, oh, that's actually Clayton Kershaw.
Kershaw was fired up last night.
He was fired up. We're gonna score some stuff next, and maybe talk about what these guys were thinking.
I don't know what they're thinking.
Not much.
That's obvious.
If you can't score, you might as well drop the gloves.
Hey, we're gonna score some stuff. Emma Miskew joining us next segment.
I'm ready to go.
Well, not joining us. I keep saying joining us. I'm so used to people being here when we're doing this.
She joined us.
She joined us. Emma Miskew
and she was really good.
Yes, in the next segment, which was great. Yeah, she was fantastic. All right, listen. Let's score some stuff, and let's talk about what these people were thinking.
Right.
So first of all, we've got the Brooklyn Nets and the Cleveland Cavaliers. What's it?
Tyronn Lue has no idea that Booker is sitting in his timeout.
It's great though, right? Like, and you'd think they'd be just totally PO'd about this, but they're not.
If you look at LeBron, he doesn't look happy. Look at LeBron's like, what's he doing, man?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay.
First of all, what do you score in this, and what part of it are you scoring?
I am scoring the fact that he stayed in the whole timeout and was able to get their play. I hope he stole the ball after. I'm scoring this a 10 right there.
That's a high number,
That's a 10.
man.
I think that's hilarious, especially think about that, a timeout and you're just chilling there. He was there for like a minute, just hanging out.
It wasn't a minute long. We just watched it. It was like 10
Before that, he
seconds.
was standing there before the timeout started. NBA timeout. Come on.
7. You can't go any higher than 10, man.
I know. I loved it. That's why. Actually, I might be scoring all 10s today.
All right. Okay, listen. This is somewhere in Europe, I believe. No, this might be somewhere in the U.S. This is a goaltender. I don't know what he's doing here. Like, what are you doing, man? and then I'm just gonna
I like this.
clap it out. Clap it out.
You know what? You got me. So my only thought is that goalie was going to take out that guy. I'm hoping that they're buddies, and he's like, "I'm going to take you out." That's not the best.
That's-
That's
you
not
could
the
do
best
so
move as a
much better than
goalie,
that.
like on a penalty
You
shot.
could do so much better than that.
So what are you scoring?
all right, I'll go. I'll go twosies on this one. I mean that was a feeble effort. The clap gains a little bit of respect, hence the 2. But yeah.
Okay,
all he's
and
got.
I'm going 5
Oh, my
because
word,
I
man.
love the clap at the end, and the stack the pads is classic.
He didn't stack the pads. He
Well, he
sprawled, like,
stacked the pads
No, there's no
into the
stacking of
slide.
the pads.
See, if he would have saved
Stacking the pads is when you have one pad, and then another one
I'm
is
well
on top.
aware what stacking the pads
but
is.
What he did was he had one pad out here, and
Look
the
at
other
this
pad,
description.
the other pad is my pen. It's over here. He did the splits as he came out.
that, can anyone tell what?
Yeah, the people can tell what that is. Okay, listen.
spread eagle, fine.
Yep, you play hockey.
Yep.
Not well, but you play hockey.
I do, yep.
Hip checks, you ever give them?
No, because I play rec hockey. I've received a few.
Well, when you didn't play rec hockey.
When I didn't play
Or
rec
have you
hockey, yeah,
always played men's
I gave a
hockey when you
couple.
were a
You know what?
kid?
I gave one when I was in Pee Wee. I can still remember. A guy was getting pushed into me, and I hit him with a hip check. He fell on his head, and I felt awful.
Yeah.
Real cool for a second,
Yeah.
but real awful.
How would you feel getting this hip check? Oh,
That's basically
he's down.
he took a free ride to the hospital, basically.
And the best part is the 2 guys coming in like right after they're gonna hit. You can be sure they ran into that guy. There's no way they didn't. Like here they come. We can be sure they didn't run into that guy.
I am giving the check itself 7, and it's impressive that he kept him on his back that far.
Yeah, I wrote
You're
him.
disappointed, I can
Wrote
tell.
him all the way to the
Ooh.
boards. That's an 8. That's excellent. It's excellent work by the defender. Why'd the guy stay on his back?
I don't know. He could have easily popped off, like spun off. I don't know what. Maybe he's hoping for a penalty.
You play football when you were a kid?
I did not. No, just touch football.
I've
flag
never been a
football.
holder, but I'm under the impression that when you're holding the ball for the point after the kick or whatever, field goal if you have to, that's what you do. You hold the ball.
You got one job,
Yeah, 2. You have to catch it first.
right? And then you
So
put
you have
your
to
one
catch
finger
it
there.
first, and then you have to hold it. Like this, you're wondering,
Oh,
like,
where'd
what
that
just
kick
happened
go?
here?
Where'd that kick go?
Yeah, apparently not far. So he squibbed it.
There's a lot of wrestling on the ground there.
Look at this. Look at this. Oh, my hands. On my hands.
So you just forgot. You forgot the only thing you're supposed to do. The only thing.
Hold the ball.
Even put your hand in the way. I don't.
What do
care.
you think he
Just
was?
hold it
What
up.
was he thinking though? Like, why did he move his hands out of the way? Why would you move your hands out of the way?
I think it was the oh shoot moment. Oh,
Or do you
shoot.
think it was like, I don't like get my hands kicked off?
That was college, right? So he just lost his scholarship. He's going home.
Did they have holding scholarships?
Well, he's probably a backup QB or something that got put out there with the kickers. Yeah.
He made the catch. He made the catch. I'll give him a 2 because he made the catch.
And I'm going one even worse because I couldn't tell where the ball went when he kicked it.
It didn't go anywhere. You watched the
I
video.
think it
didn't
hit
go
the
anywhere.
center in the back.
Okay, this is Seattle Seahawks practice. This is from Sunday. This is incredible. Like, this is amazing.
Okay, first off, why is there a box on the
Yeah,
field?
I don't know why there's a box on the field.
I hope it was for drills.
This is incredible.
The snake charmer.
Why does he have a Macklemore jersey on? That's the other question.
I don't think
Look at
I've
the coach. Coach is like, what is this?
I like the camera guy got. I don't think I've seen anything better.
No, that's-
in an NFL practice. I assume NFL practices are pretty all business, but I'm going 10.
Tens across the
10.
board on
That
this
is
one.
amazing.
That was awesome. Like,
If you could pull that out on a touchdown in the end zone,
oh, you'd be
That's a-
fined.
that's a
That's a
silly-
heavy fine.
that is a
Why
silly-
is there? They had to have the box there for that reason.
I don't know. Yeah, they weren't doing drills with it.
When you
'cause those
first
guys
saw it,
would
did you
blow
wonder like what are they doing with this box? Like, what's Jimmy Graham going to do?
Oh, I
with
thought he
this
was
box?
just running away with it until the guy pops into it.
Macklemore.
Yeah, that was staged, but it was awesome.
I love big hits, and I cannot lie. Oh, yeah. That's punishing.
Yeah, and that's a that's a QB airmail-in one in the slot there.
Well, those are you're destined to be absolutely punished, right?
Like he didn't even have time to catch it and tuck.
No, we went straight to the soccer one here too. We might as well go. We'll score them
Okay.
both. This is awesome.
That goalie is jacked about his non-save.
That's incredible.
How much spin did that ball
I know.
have?
The best is at the end where the goalie is like so PO'd. that he grabs it. Look at this guy. Look at the goalie. What do you think? What's going through the goalie's mind right now? I'm gonna punch somebody right in the face.
I'm hoping that's men's league or he's in a lot of trouble.
It is. Look at the grass. There he is, mad. It's all mad. All right, listen. Let's score the. What do we want to score here? Let's score the soccer one first.
Okay, I'm scoring the soccer one to 6. Degree of difficulty to hit the crossbar and have it go in.
Didn't try to do it.
I know for it to happen, it's still a fluke. But when's the last time you saw that happen?
It's not intentional. He didn't mean to do it. He got lucky. He
You
got
know what
lucky.
the goalie
It's not
was
a skill
thinking?
goal.
What am I thinking? Because he ran out after celebrating a crossbar.
I
He
totally-
didn't make the save.
I
Why
totally
are you
forgot what
celebrating?
the other video was that we were going to score.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
I'm going to give
The
it
soccer
a 10,
goal took
whatever it
over.
was. 10. I'll just go 10 on that. Okay, volleyball. So we've talked about the wrestlers, women.
They're hot. They're hot.
Pardon me?
They're hot.
Yeah.
They're on fire right now.
They are on fire right
Yeah.
now. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Like, I thought it hit the ground. It's still in play.
The whole kick pass. Everyone.
I didn't think you could kick the ball.
Everyone's celebrating. Look at that. Team huddle.
I didn't think you could kick the ball like that.
Yeah, it's legal now. I'm going to ask the Dyer
Quickly,
brothers if
score
they've
this.
seen anything.
Score this thing.
Degree of difficulty, I'm going to score 7.
I'll just go with the 9er on that one. I'll just go with the 9er. That was pretty good. But so you're telling me you can kick the ball.
You can kick it now, yeah. Any action to get the ball up.
All right. We're back with Emma Miskew.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
All right, so as we mentioned, we had a chance to chat with Emma Miskew, the third from Team Rachel Homan. Caught up with her on Friday.
Yep.
After they had been eliminated from the Pinty's Grand Slam of curling.
Which is the toughest time to do an interview, obviously.
it is
so
the
really
toughest
nice
time
of
to
her
do
to
it.
be able to step out and do that.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll throw to that right now, and people can have a watch of that interview. Lance Phillips with Chris King and Emma Miskew, the third for Team Rachel Homan. Thank you very much for joining us, my dear.
Thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you. This is exciting for us, as we typically get local athletes, which are maybe the up-and-comers. You are the comer now. You've made it.
Yeah, I guess so. Don't really think about it that way, but yeah.
So listen, is this your first day in Lloydminster?
Yeah, actually, we've been in Alberta lots and Saskatchewan lots, but never really come right to the border. So yeah, this is the first time.
So now that you're on the border, what's the best thing you've seen here in Lloydminster? Me being from Lloyd, obviously there's a ton of great things. Best place you ate or something like that?
Yeah, we've had a couple meals at Original Joe's. It's been good.
It's a classic staple
Yes,
here.
classic
Classic
staple.
staple.
I feel like I know what that smile means.
Yeah.
We haven't actually explored a whole lot. We went to Rock Creek, and we've kind of been back and forth from Cora's in the morning, so not a whole lot of exploring, but the best part was for sure like driving down the border road and Joe making a joke that she was in one province than the other.
That's a classic.
Yeah, that
that's
is.
you're like, I'm sure that you were the first one to think of that one.
I believe I did that when I moved here. I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah, this is cool, and then realized it wasn't cool at all.
Yeah. So with these Pinty events, with the 5 rock rule, how does that differ for your guys' strategy compared to the regular 4 rock guard rule?
Yeah, it's definitely different. It changes when you have a lead, you can't just play defense like in the 4 rock rule. So Joanne's first shot in the 4 rock rule when we have a lead is always peeling the corner guard. And
Right.
in the 5 rock rule, we can't peel that guard. So it makes Lisa's rocks really important to get set up in the right spots, lined up, one in the 4-foot, one in the 8-foot, and then Joanne's rock will be a guard.
Right.
So we're guarding that so that they have to move all of our rocks before they can kind of start playing around their corners.
Right.
Whereas normally, again, we're peeling the whole end away. So it just creates another element of precision. You have to be more precise when you have a lead than you have been in the past in the 4 rock rule. You can kind of get away with just like banging everything, just
playing
hit
it out.
everything. Yeah.
So do you find that it's creating more comebacks and more high-scoring games?
I would think so, or it's the team that's already winning just keeps going.
Keeps pushing it.
Yeah, because
Right.
they've set up their rocks in the 4-foot, they're guarded, and so if the team that's trying to generate momentum doesn't get them cleared out, they might actually give up another steal instead of maybe just getting forced to 1 or taking 2. So it could go either way. Either you could catch up and use them, but if
Right.
the team that's winning is playing well, often they'll just keep scoring more points.
Does it really make and I think you kind of alluded to it, does it really make your leads shots critical, like even more critical than normal?
I think so, a little bit more, because again, you can't just peel that first guard away.
Right.
So if your lead goes back T-line, normally we can blast that out, but they can use it when we can't peel their guards off. So I think yes, we always want them pretty precise, but you can get burned a little bit if you're not completely precise in the 5-rock rule.
I know that this tournament hasn't worked out quite as well for you as you would have hoped. Same with the Tour Challenge. What kind of things are you going through right now that you need to get sorted out to get prepared for Olympic trials?
We actually we had a couple bad breaks in the first 2 games, some picks on Rachel's last rock, and that can really turn a game around. So we weren't super disappointed with what we were doing. The team we just played very well. They deserved to win that one. We're not throwing badly. We won the last 2 events with 4-rock roll. We're going to the trials with 4-rock roll. We're not overly concerned. We're just trying to game by game get better, and we think we're doing that. So we're just gonna try to debrief this, figure out what we need to practice going forward. But we're not freaking out.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
The good news is not for at least another month. It's over a month now. So I hear a lot of teams talking about peaking at the right time. We have to peak at the right time. So with the trials over a month away, you're still in line to do that. What do you need to do to peak at the right time?
Yeah.
Or what does it mean to peak at the right time?
Yeah, I think every team has their own way of figuring out what they need to do to peak at the right time, and it's not like a mathematical formula. It's getting the right amount of games and practices in that suit you before that time, and not going to the point of burnout. So playing not enough events, not too many events, practicing enough but not too much, working out enough but not too much, getting sleep. There's a whole bunch of factors that go into it, but realistically you could never guarantee anything. You could prep the best that you thought you could and go out, and it's just not your week. So we know that there's so many elements that are outside of our control. We're trying to control the ones that are, and then when we get there, hopefully the stars align. If not, we know we've done everything that we needed to do, and that's all we can really ask for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it sounds like you guys are mentally focused for those trials. As a coach, we know that the process is really important. Your guys' skills are your skills at this point. Is there anything that you guys see that you need to tweak heading into those trials that you didn't like this last week?
Well, it's very different because this is 5-rock roll and the trials are 4-rock roll. So
the strategy
and
changes.
the last 2 events we played before this were 4-rock roll, and we won both of them. So we're not.
Right.
Again, it's very different. Strategy is different. I think that we're just trying to figure out where we could get another couple inches out there but we can't critique our strategy. It's just about throwing the rock as pure as we can, really.
Okay, but the good news is that trials are in Ottawa, which is awesome for you guys considering you're an Ottawa team. Is there any extra pressure? Do you feel any extra pressure, or are you just excited to get out there and play in Ottawa?
Yeah, we actually love playing at home, so there's no any extra pressure. Any event in Ontario, we've absolutely loved it. Yeah, the crowd is awesome, but they're not mean to us. We're really lucky. They don't boo us, so we're just happy to have the opportunity to play at home. I don't remember ever playing in Ottawa in an arena, so this is going to be a first time opportunity. We played in Kingston, we played in St. Catharines, and the crowds were amazing in both. So we're just hoping to go into that with the kind of same mindset and embrace the crowd, love it, and take in the moment, because not everyone has that opportunity, right?
No, and it's a big forum too,
huge.
Canadian Tire Center. It's not this. It's a much bigger center, so you're going to get lots of people cheering for you in there for sure.
Hopefully, yeah.
That's the same arena that the Ottawa Senators play in. Are you a Sens fan?
I am a Sens fan, yes.
Okay, so it's been a good year for you so far. They just crushed the Leafs the other night, so this is good. Do you get to any Sens games yourself?
Yeah, actually, we're affiliated with the Sens, our team is, so they give us some tickets from time to time. We like to get out to as many games as we can. I love going to games. Where it is right now, you have to make a night out of it because it's a little bit in our suburbs.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, but it's awesome. Especially last year's playoff run was so exciting. I went to a bunch of playoff games last year, and I don't realize how stressful it is watching other sports where you care about the outcome. It's not just watching a sport. I'll watch football, and
it's football.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite team, so I just watch it, and I appreciate the strategy behind it. But when it comes to hockey, I really, really care. So
awesome.
I feel for them too, because you watch, we get people bashing us on social media if they don't like something we do, and I'm like, oh, those guys are mean. And then we look at what people say to the Sens if they don't play well, if they mess something up, and I'm like, I don't feel bad for them. People are ruthless.
No. Yeah, they are.
So with the affiliation, do you think we'll see any Sens supporting you guys when you guys are in town?
I think they're actually on a road trip because they have to get out of the building. So the main players will be competing kind of on, they're going somewhere. And then some of the players that are back home maybe, but we don't we don't really know. I know that the players, they're going to have their own schedule,
Right.
so a lot of them will be on the road, but yeah.
We talked just off camera about how amateur Chris and I are at curling. Like, it's probably embarrassing
it's
for
really
amateur curlers to watch us do it. But I needed to know if there's a favorite stone that you like to throw. Like, I'm terrified of throwing like a takeout rock, like, because I don't come out, but like I'm all over the place. Do you have a favorite rock do you like to throw?
I think I like throwing the run backs. Like, I like throwing the heat, but
That's awesome.
it's always like, it feels good to make like a really key draw and put it right in the right
Yeah.
spot, because the whole team's engaged in the shot. So you have your sweepers who put it in the right spot and you throw it to the right spot. So it really feels more like a team shot.
I feel like just being able to throw down a rock that you can crush all the other rocks out of the house is incredible, but I can't do it.
That's that might make you fall if you try to throw it that
No, I
hard.
did. I have. Yeah, it's absolutely terrifying to do. Just going back to sports, to the hockey for one more second here. The first guest we had on our show was Darcy Tucker, who of course was a Maple Leaf for a long time. He hates the Ottawa Senators, like loathes them, like still to this day, even retired. Do you have a hatred, and that's a strong term, but do you have a dislike for the Maple Leafs as much as he does for the Senators?
Yeah, well, it's more the fans though. Like, I don't hate the
Fair
players on the
enough.
team. Like, they bounce from team to team.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate talent and athletes, so I definitely, like, I can't despise the team itself.
And that's fair. That's
it's
fair.
the fans that, like, they'll show up. Like, we're playing like Vancouver, and there's people in the crowd in Leafs jerseys booing the Sens, and I'm like, okay, well,
That's
so like.
Yep.
That's a little far, and it's a little weird. So, like, that's why there's so many.
Sounds like Leaf fans.
yeah.
That's why there's so many fights in the building. Like, it's always a Leafs jersey against a Sens jersey, and you're like, well,
It's good to hear it's hot in there.
yeah.
So in terms of you guys have been all over. What's the favorite venue you've played at? Is it a smaller, intimate venue or a bigger? Like, what's the favorite place that you've curled at?
I think this past season in St. Catharines was one of the best
Awesome.
facilities that we've been in. Not only for the atmosphere and like where it was like a beautiful area, but the ice maker went above and beyond. Like, they had some frost issues, and he was there all day, every day, scraping at the halfway point. It was just like overall a very memorable event for us, and had an amazing time. And then winning the World Championships in Beijing. I mean, we didn't know really what to expect going to Beijing. We got a little bit of a briefing. It's on the other side of the world. It's a very different place than it is here. But I'll always remember that building, and first World Championship gold will always stick with us.
That's awesome. The ice making is kind of important in curling, isn't it? It's
Very important,
arguably
yeah.
the most important part of curling. You're into Sault Ste. Marie next, so you're back in Ontario, and we hope to see you in Pyeongchang in 2018. That'd be great
That'd
to see
be
Team Home and representing Canada. I feel like that would give Canada a pretty good chance to win, wouldn't it?
We will be strong.
Yeah, we will be strong. Emma, thanks a lot. We really appreciate you taking some time to chat with us today, and it's nice to know that there are Sens fans that dislike Leaf fans as well. That's great.
Thanks for having me.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
Emma was a good little chat.
Yeah, it was awesome.
She was a good little chat. Enjoyed her kind of prodding at Leaf fans.
Yeah, there's some hate there for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean,
She
I
didn't
feel like
quite
that's.
come out, but
Pardon me?
She didn't quite come out and say it fully, but
No, she said she didn't like Leaf fans.
yeah,
she
I think
she
it's
made
a little
that
more
apparent.
than that. Yeah.
Could be. Listen, we're gonna do some letters. We got some letters, and why don't you start it off? You have a letter there
Yeah.
that you received
I
recently.
got two I just came across here. So,
Okay, perfect.
So we'll talk about them.
It's a cross, right? It's not a cross. There's no T after a cross, right?
cross.
A
You're
cross?
just killing it on my language here.
Sorry.
English, not so good.
Okay.
Okay. Dear MLB, we love how exciting the 2017 playoffs have been. We are truly on the edge of our seats in every game. Thank you for not juicing the ball until we retired from the game, as we would have been out of a job in the new juice ball era. MLB pitchers from 2010 to 2016.
What do you mean juice ball era? You think we're in the juice ball
Oh
era?
yeah, they juice the ball. You see how many home runs this year?
I'm not saying there's not a lot of home runs. But
Guys that went from 20 home runs are up at 30. Look at how many home runs are in the playoffs. The game was 11-11, 12-12, like
So is this the reason that pitchers are running into blister issues on fingers and stuff? Is
If I was a pitcher, I'd be injured for sure.
Yeah?
I wouldn't want to be out there, especially small ballpark too, right? But anything that gets hit. Last night, everything that
no,
got
I mean
hit,
they're
it
talking
was
about blisters on the seams, and the seams are different. And
Yeah, I think the core must have
and
changed.
Justin Verlander was making the point on Sunday night that these balls are definitely different. He's saying they're different from playoffs, just the regular postseason, to the World Series. Not to mention the difference between regular season.
Which-
and then
That's not
what's
fair,
his
though.
name from the Dodgers came back and said, no, they're fine. There's no difference.
Yeah, if the balls are different from regular season, that's just not fair, right? Especially to the pitchers, because it's such a touch and a feel thing on the seam.
Sure.
So, I don't know. It seems like they're juiced. This is almost like Barry Bonds-esque
Yeah.
right now.
Okay, so this one came in, it seems pretty self-explanatory. Dear Comp, we told you. Holy Rosary. We told you.
There's a lot of signatures on that one, I bet.
Yeah, there are a lot of signatures on this one.
But you know what's awesome is that game was so close. To
And there were
have two
it was.
football teams so strong in our city is awesome.
The only thing that would have been better is a higher scoring game, of course. But
Right.
it was 3-3 up until the Rouge, which I know you're a big fan of the
Love
Rouge.
the Rouge.
With like 3 minutes left in the first half, and then Travis Moreland got the pick with just over a minute left in the half, and the game was done at that point. I mean, there was still another half to play, obviously,
Right.
but that was the difference. Well, it was a hell of a game.
Was it cold out there?
No,
I
actually, it
in
was
the
really
gym.
nice. I wore a winter jacket, and I was warm-ish. It was nice.
That's good. I got one more here I'm going to read to you. Dear Mr. Chris Jones, in light of our teammate Duron Carter taking all of our playing time, myself and the other defensive backs are wondering if we also have to donate our salary to him since he's doing all our jobs. Concerned Riders defensive back. Fair question.
He's been good. He's been good. I got another quick one here. Dear NHL, hockey is fun. We wish we'd done this earlier. Golden Knights. I guess they wish they'd done it earlier.
Yeah, no doubt. And it seems to be working out great. People are coming to the building. They're successful. Like,
Of course, people are going to come, right? Because they're in that honeymoon phase. Like, let's
Right,
see where
that's
they're
fair.
at a year or two from now. Like, what happens if they start losing? You know, that's where it gets more interesting.
But you think of how many people make trips there. Like my brother is making a trip to Vegas to watch the Oilers, right? I think a lot of people, that's a destination people go to just for vacation.
Sure.
So they're not getting their regular hometown crowd all the time, but they're getting a big crowd. I think that's a good sell. It's an interesting spot.
I guess. It's got to be better than Carolina or Arizona for a team.
Yeah.
It can't be worse.
Where you can just walk into the front row.
Oh, brutal. Thanks for watching. 7.